Shawn. We could not be more grateful that you are here with us. We have 112 people that have been really excited to hear from you tonight. So guys, remember to keep your microphones muted. Other than that, we are going to roll here. So Shawn, thank you so much again. I know you do not have a lot of time on your hands. We got convention coming up. We got a lot of stuff going on. What I would love for you to talk about first is the importance of convention, the seats on the floor for the Dream Center, why we've decided to do that, that way, and what we got going on with that.
The thing that most people don't understand about the business, if you ask me why we grew or why some of the agencies grew so much, let's use Andrew Taylor. Andrew Taylor used to not understand, first of all, and I'm not preaching to anybody, so please don't everybody get all offended if you get offended. I believe in whatever you believe in. I'm happy you believe in it. And I don't judge anybody. Because I don't want to be judged. So one reason I don't do it. But I said to Andrew Taylor in his second year, he said, I want to grow. I said, you're not gonna. And he said, what do you mean? I go, you won't. Why would you grow? He's like, well, I don't understand what you're saying. I go, Andrew, you give no money back to anybody. You donate no money. You don't give to any causes. You're squeaky as hell with your money. It goes in your pocket. You keep it. You don't do nothing. You don't help anybody at all. And he's like, what should I do? I said, give back to people that need it more than you. The year we grew the most when we started working with the Dream Center. Like that was the year we grew the most. So the reason we do the seats on the floor is we give away $200,000 to people in leads. Number one, only to the people on the floor. Like you need a bracelet, get down to the floor. Number two, we're trying to help people understand the power of giving. Like I give as much as I can give every single year. Like we give a lot of money away, but Pastor Matthew's like really hurting. Like the program's hurting. They're in East LA. Fentanyl use is up. People dying is up. Violence is up. Suicides are up. He takes no government money. So the importance to me is doing the right thing. If you're trying to build your business, I'm telling you something right now. Call it what you want. Call it karma. Call it the universe. I'm not playing. I'm not remotely being condescending. Call it whatever you want. But when you start doing things that affect people outside of yourself, you just become blessed. I'm just telling you do. I can't quote scripture from the Bible. People are like, what's your favorite Bible verse? I'm like, I don't know. I read the Bible every day and I don't remember any of it. I do the best I can. I can't quote it to you, dude. I ain't pastor anybody. I'm just trying to be a good human being. So Marissa, we're just trying to give back. We're trying to make a difference. That's what we're supposed to be doing with our money. It's $297, which is tax deductible. So it's really $150 after taxes you're giving away. And the reality really is you're probably going to get that back in leads, or your team is. And if I'm going to go to the event, I'd rather sit closer, and 100% of it goes right to the Dream Center. So I'm on a massive push to do it. We've always just been big on giving back. And I think that's the single biggest reason we've grown as a company.
Yeah, I love that. And Shawn, we have a lot of new agents on here who've never gone to convention. Can you explain to them the way the venue is set up and why they would want to sit on the floor besides the free leads?
There's a bunch of new agents. So when I get out here and cuss, all those new agents had to hear me cuss.
They did hear you cuss, yes.
I was pissed. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to fire the guy that was in here if he's already fired on the way out. I don't like wasting your time. The reason I say that is I don't want to waste any of y'all's time. I take your time very, very seriously. I know you're moving away from something right now for 45 minutes to be on here. Here's my thing. I've always been a sit in the front kind of person, no matter what it is, because I don't want to waste my time. Like if I have to go to something for an hour, 2 hours, or a day, or 2 or 3, I want to get the most out of it. I want to be the closest I can to the information. It's a huge place. I mean, Lone Depot Park's a huge place. The audio is good. But I mean, if I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing this for my family and I'm doing this to support people and I'm doing it to take care of myself and pay my bills, dude, I want any advantage I can get. I really do. So when you look at the field, what we did was, everybody knows a baseball field, if you didn't play baseball, we go like, if you're facing the field, you're at home plate, look at the field. The stage is out by second base. Huge stage, whole deal. Behind it's like the outfield. Nobody's in the outfield. And in the infield, all the way back to home plate, we set up 2,500 seats. Everybody else sits in the stand somewhere, wherever they happen to be. Left field, right field, behind home plate. So you do have not only a better view, you have better access, better audio. It's more real time because it's a huge stadium. So we do the best we can with the audio, but it's a much better experience there. Then what we all do is every break we give away leads. So we're going to give away a cumulative $200,000 in leads, but only to the people sitting on the floor. People sitting at the table, the only ones So like at the end of the day, it's getting people to understand that that group will have access to $200,000 in free leads, right? I'm not going to give them to the guy in 306E. Now he can still hear, you can hear wherever you are in the stadium, but the experience is definitely, in my opinion, going to be better. I don't know, man, if I'm closer, I think I'm more interactive. I think I get more out of it. And that's how I've been in everything I've done. When I got into business, I was like, dude, I want to be the first one there, one of the last ones to leave. I want to have that unfair advantage. And the problem for a lot of my people I hung out with, they would say stuff like, oh, why are you doing that? Are you trying to who do you think you are? I'm like, I just think I'm somebody that wants more than you do, bro. You don't have to get up early and go. I don't give a damn what you do, bro. It ain't my business. I'm just saying, I'm working really hard to give myself an advantage. So the way it's logistically laid out, I think you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. So Shawn, now what we did at FFL Domination, so we have, my seat, and then we have 15 seats for which I am going to pick 15, hopefully newer agents to come down and be able to sit on the floor with a donation from FFL Domination. If you were me, we have 9 days left until the event starts. How would you pick those people based on what?
Man, that's a great question. I think it's a myriad of things, honestly. I'm a big fan of people that have nothing to lose and you see it through their activity. There's so many different ways you could do it, right? Somebody's brand new, what do they do for appointments this week, sales, all of the above. But I think, Marissa, what you're trying to figure out is if I had only 15 people if I was at the event and there was 15 people that are, even if they're newer people that I knew I wanted to be in business with, and you figure that out. So for me, it was maybe it was the guy's first event or the girl's first event. Maybe they literally just got licensed, but they brought 3 or 4 or 5 people with them. They recruited a few people. That was my deal too. I was big on credibility. And the way I judged or discerned your credibility is how many people could you get to go to a meeting with you? Because for me, when I got my insurance license, the guy that hired me is like, how many can you bring to the meeting? I'm like, how many does the meeting hold? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, how many can we fit in there? And he's like, oh, it's at a Holiday Inn. I go, dude, how many can we fit in there? He's like, I don't know. We've never had more than 30. I said, I'll have 100 there on Thursday. I started on Monday. He's like, you're going to have 100 people to meet. And I said, yeah, but it only holds 75. And I sure as shit brought 89 people with me. I had credibility with people because I worked really hard. I wasn't full of shit. They knew I wasn't going to march them into certain death. I didn't necessarily know exactly what it was, but it didn't really cost them any money to get started. So they had nothing to lose kind of deal. You know what I mean? So, Marissa, sales, activity, appointments, how many they bring to the event with them, anything you see from now until then. And then, at the end of the day, those are your tickets. You bought them. Those are wild card seats. You can pick anybody you want. But I think, everybody says they want to change their life until it's inconvenient. And I think that's always my thing. And it's not really inconvenient. Go to Miami, which everybody seems to like Miami. The weather's good. The city has lots of stuff to do. The event's free. So it's not a massive sacrifice. But then again, you're leaving your family, you're leaving your friends, you're leaving whatever. So I try to discern who's going to make the sacrifices. That's that whole concept of who's going to, as life punches you, who's going to punch back. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's huge. All right, Shawn. So we're excited about convention. This is, last year was the best event I've ever been to. I can only imagine this year. So we had titled this call basically, how do we make 2023 our best year yet? And we had, I had put out some feelers earlier in the day for some questions and got some questions back from our agency. Do you mind if we ask those questions?
Ask away.
Okay, perfect. So the first one is from Kyle Juarez. Okay, he's out of Arizona. He said, if you were a brand new agent going into your first calendar year with FFL and you want to hit Hall of Fame, what advice would you give yourself?
Kyle, I ran 30 appointments every week, dude, and I never missed 30 appointments. That was the advice I gave to myself. I didn't have anybody around me to give advice to. We weren't Hall of Fame of the old company I worked at. People didn't sell a ton, but I started doing the numbers. I was I run 30 appointments. And this is what I think the math that people got screwed up on. Let's say I run 30 appointments. And let's say that I'm not very good and 20 of them are there. And then I'm not very good and I close 10 of them. And on average, they're $1,000. There's my 10,000. And then 70% of it's going to get placed. So I have $7,000. And then it's okay, well, then 70% of that's going to stay on the books. Right. So I started really doing my math on that number. That's why I always had to work because I understood the way this business worked. But, and then Kyle, you'll get better. So 30 appointments will become, and I don't know if Kyle's in, I don't know if Kyle is in the field or on the phone. I don't know which one he is. In the field. Thank God, Kyle. Thank for the love of God, where the adults go and sell insurance. I love y'all. And please don't take that the wrong way. Closing's better, quality's better. I'm not mad at y'all. And if you're selling 30, 40, 50 grand over the phone a month, congratulate and keep doing it. But if you're like a lot of other people, you're struggling over the phone, get in your car and go see people. If you run 30 appointments a week, Kyle, every single week, and I mean every week, dude, there's zero doubt you'll hit Hall of Fame. But I mean every week. So that might mean 1 week you have something going on. Maybe you run 35. Like I had to average, Kyle, 120 appointments a month. If you have something you got to go to 1 week, fine. The next week, run 40 appointments. But if you run that many, dude, you can't fail. Then you'll never beat the numbers, and numbers will never beat you. So that's the best piece of advice I could give you. Stay consistent. Do your 30. Buy your leads. Invest in your leads. You're going to overwhelm it. The first year is going to. That's your biggest struggle once you start getting going, right? And if you stay plugged into and have the right attitude, and only talk to people that can help you. There's a myriad of people around that have advice and opinions, and they're not qualified to help you, dude. Me, I was like, how much you sell? Every time I went to a meeting, how much you sell or how many people on your team? How much you sell, how many people on your team? That's all I asked. They'd be like, you know what you need to do to build it? I'm like, how many people did you bring to the event with you? How much your team issue a month? How much do you issue a month? I was pre-qualifying your advice before I decided to take it.
Love it. All right. This appears to be more of a builder's question from Vincent. Okay. Vincent said, if you were starting today in the company at the ground floor and you wanted to build an agency, what are the first 3 things that you would do to scale?
The first thing, Vincent, and most people miss this, Vincent, those first 100 people or less than 100 I brought to the meeting, I knew who they all were. And all of us have a network. My network was like, happened to be a lot of people I played ball with through high school, college, and after college. Like that was my original network. And I didn't know a lot of them very well. Some were guys I played against that I didn't even like, but I was like, you know him? I'm like, call JR, see if he wants to come work. So first thing, Vincent, is my warm market. That would be because again, I know a lot of those people. I know their habits. I know who they are. I can trust them. The second thing would be my online social media presence. We say this every week, but a lot of you just won't do it. Like, and if you were to imagine if you sent 30 messages a day to people, and most people won't do it because of what they call the rejection rate. Same thing, a lot of people stop dialing. But I was ready to be like, dude, I was no problem being rejected. If I kept asking enough, got rejected enough, eventually I'd get there. So I'd be really crazy about both my warm market and my online, like social media presence, what I was doing to up my game and to be active and create content. And Vincent, nobody hates it more than I do. Like, honestly, nobody. I hate it. Marissa knows I hate it. Like, I hate it. The guy's like, take a selfie. I'm like, hell no. He's like, do a video. I'm like, absolutely. Like, Vincent, I don't like it, but I know I got to do it. Like, I literally have to go, all right, yeah, do a video. And like, I know I don't want to do it, bro, but I do it. So, and the last thing is, I'm telling you what I knew is you want to figure out what's your differentiator. So every one of you, if I'm interviewing somebody or somebody's trying to pitch me an idea or want me to invest in something, the thing I'm always thinking about is what is their unique-ifier and what's their differentiator? What are 2 things what are the things that set them apart from other people? Vincent, the best way to set yourself apart from other people as your ground floor, sales. Dude, when I got into my old company, I was like, some of these guys have been here 10, 15 years. I really don't know the industry very well. I will figure it out. But you know what? What I would do is I outsold everybody. I was like, if I go sell 50 grand a month and they're selling 20, I have a competitive advantage over them. Like, we're all working at the same company, but I have a competitive advantage over them. Like, why not join me? And that's stuff I talked about. Like when I was running ads, do you want to learn how to do what I'm already doing and I can teach you to do? And I think that went a long way. So Vincent, those are the 3 things I would do if I was starting from the ground floor right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Shawn. That kind of leads into another question that came from Desiree. Desiree, I talked to her a little bit. She's like, she knows she needs to grow her social media, but her thing is you've grown your social media a lot, Shawn. Can you name 1 or 2 things that social media wise and marketing wise have had a big impact on your growth?
Well, first of all, I think even for clients, I think, I mean, back in the day, it was Facebook. It wasn't, I started this business 15 years ago. But dude, I wanted my clients to know who I was. I wanted to be real. Like I wanted them to be able to connect with me. And I thought that was huge for my persistency. So I was like, hey, all my clients followed me on social media. I'd be like, hey, pull up your, and they were older, so there's Facebook, whatever. But I'm like, pull up your social media. I want you to follow me, because I wanted them to know who I was. And I also wasn't in the picture smoking crack, doing a keg stand, smashing windows, cussing people out. Like I wasn't embarrassed of my content, right? Like I really wasn't putting a lot up at the time. But I think the first thing is it allowed me to have that connectivity. Also for agents, what is the first thing the people you're trying to recruit do? They go to your social media. They want to check out they want to know something about you, good, bad, or indifferent. They're trying to figure out what they do, right? And at the end of the day, you need to have enough content, right? Because you have to understand, you're explaining to somebody who you don't know, right? Maybe, and you're like, hey, you can make X amount of dollars. You can go run appointments. I was talking to a guy tonight that I recruited. He's like, explain the way it works. So when I do that, I now know him, but he's like, man, that sounds too good to be true. And I was like, I hear you, bro. I understand that, but you've never made more than 50K a year. So anything that's outside of what, we had discussion about it, but if I didn't know him and he went to my social media, what would he see? So the validators of seeing that inconsistency, because can you imagine joining the business and I go on there and you haven't posted anything in 2 months? And I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, you don't even about work here. Like, even you guys, if you're looking to connect with somebody, they haven't posted in 2 years, you're like, that's weird. Like, that's just weird. Like, what are they on here for? They don't post. So I think the first thing, Desiree, is I've really been able to see the consistency, and I'm trying to, like, it's a nice, I don't want to say shortcut, but I'm trying to recruit, and I don't have all this time to go over and over and over. But I want you to be able to go to my social media and get some snapshots of what I do to help me recruit you without me talking to you. And I think the next thing is, I think the mistake a lot of us make is there are 2 million licensed agents. You can find them easily. If you message 30 of them a day and just said, hey, happy to connect with you, like, don't try to recruit them through the message. Don't be crazy. Learn what to do and what not to do. But hey, I like to connect with people in my industry. Let's say back to Vincent, and Vincent's helping 30 families a week. And Vincent goes, hey, Tom, great to connect with you. Man, I found some things recently that's helped me close 30 deals a week. Love to chat with you if you want to talk. Like, just be creative about what you can actually do. So those are two things I've seen that it just, and also activity and new people is what's always excited about the business. Because where we get kind of frustrated is like, we've been with the same, and again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, what are you going to say? If you've been working with somebody for a year, what new ideas do you have to give them? The answer is none. So you kind of feel like you're tapped out. You're trying to like help and mentor somebody. You got no, so I mean, those new conversations through social media. So building your profile to show people that you're a real businessman or businesswoman, both your clients and your agents. And second, the ability to connect with people instantaneously and see what they do. And dude, I recruit, somebody asked me on a podcast this morning, when did you know it was going to work? And I said, man, I don't know, dude. Like, he asked me what percent I thought, like, did you think you'd be successful? I was like, I didn't know. We thought maybe 20% chance we'd make it. But the second thing was, I was like, when agencies started joining us, they were coming in droves. Like, I have 40 agents with me, 9 agents with me, 80 agents with me. And you guys would be shocked because a lot of the people in the industry might not know who you are. And that's an advantage, not necessarily a disadvantage, because they blocked me a long time ago. Because like they hate me and I feel the same about them. They send me like fake anonymous messages through fake profiles of 2 followers. You're whatever. I'm like, from the guy hiding behind 2 followers. Okay, tough guy. I know who the people are, but they don't know who you are. They don't see you coming. And so I think those are 2 things I see right off the bat.
Perfect. Next question kind of leads into it as well from Diego. As a growing agency, who are the people you would be looking to talk to, and what questions would you be asking them?
At convention, like currently, or is this more hypothetical? Like, which one is it?
So you talked about licensed agent recruiting, right? Like, there's a bunch of people that are already licensed. What would you be saying to licensed agents about this opportunity?
Oh man, I'd be asking them what they like the most about where they're at, what they like the least. I'd be asking them if they were hiring. I hired a lot of people by letting them try to hire me. So I'd be like, hey, Marissa, I see you're in the business. Tell me what you like the most about where you work. Can you tell me a little bit more about your company? And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I got to recruit. So she's like, when do you want to get on the phone? I'm like, I don't know, right now. and then Marissa tries to recruit me. And I just listen to her for 10 minutes. I just write everything down. It's how I recruit a ton of people. And I'd be like, hey, Marissa, that sounds good. So when you said that's the commission, what level would I start at? Well, Shawn, you start at 55. I started 55%. Like, is there any way I can start higher than that, Marissa? No. All right, well, that's like stupid low. We don't do that. And I would just kind of start counterpointing and be nice, but I wouldn't be rude at all. But I'd be like, okay, when you said that about, I got to sign a contract. Yeah. All right, the training, what's that cost? So, Diego, I think you got to kind of figure out who you think you're talking to, and then you have to figure out where you're best, right? So I'd try it. A third of the people, maybe I'd say, hey, what do you like most? What do you like least about it? Another third, I might say, starting comp. And what's great about their social media profiles is you can figure out what's important to them. So like when I was hiring Brian Mendenhall, I knew it was important to Brian Mendenhall, money. I went on a social media profile. He liked to post pictures of all the crap he bought. Money's important to Brian Mendenhall. There's nothing wrong with it. That's what drives him is money. It's not what drives me, but I wasn't mad, but that's what his social media. So I was like, hey, bro, how much did you make last year? Like right at it. And he was like, do I know you? I was like, no, you don't, but you need to. How much you make last year? So he told me, I was like, dude, that's ridiculous. You make twice as much working with me. So like, you have to figure out who the people are. Sometimes it was like, hey man, we have some other options for carriers. So Diego, it's just you're figuring out where's your sweet spot, right? I'm a big fan of, hey, we have a new carrier. Are you selling with so-and-so? I noticed you're not selling with so-and-so. They have some great options. I'm assuming you're independent where you are and can add any carriers you want, correct? Question mark. And if they go, no, I can't, go, you can't? Why? Like I literally I embrace our independence and go like, why aren't you embracing yours? So I mean, there's so many different ways to go with it, man, but you have to find your niche and what works the best for you.
Love it. Okay, this one's from Riyadh. We all have the exact same opportunity here at FFL with access to the same leads, the same high commission, and the same 24 hours in a day. Why do you think some people sell on a very small scale and some people sell at a very high scale? What separates them?
I mean, I think, Riyadh, it's kind of like what separates them on the building side too, right? I think, first of all, Riyadh, I think on the sales side, some people don't realize what it actually, to fund your business, you have to sell unless you come from money. Like you have to sell, like you actually can't get ahead without selling. And I think that a lot of people, for me, when I got my insurance license, I wasn't looking to continue to make the same amount of money I was making. And when I started making money, I wanted to make more. I think we had a lot of people, let's be honest, dude. I mean, a lot of people are working 18, 20 hours a week. They're making $1,400 a week, $2,500 a week. They're making enough money to get by. They're going out on the weekends. They're hanging out in their pajamas, dialing. They're making one sale. They're going and doing whatever they do all day long. I was never going to live that way. And please don't think it's the wrong way. And I mean this, but if I had a choice between like living my life to barely pay my bills, which is the way most people live. That's how my mom lived. Everybody I ever knew my entire life growing up lived that way. If I could live that way, and I'm being serious, or I could walk out in front of traffic and get hit by 3 or 4 speeding cars at like 60 miles an hour, and maybe that would wake me up to change my life, or maybe I would die, I would pick that. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but if I had the choice between living like that or giving it a shot or dying, I'd rather be dead. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, like, I can't pretend to understand. Like, I don't understand how it's funny. You like when people post, she asked, that little meme, like, the cashier asked me to donate to the poor. I am the poor. It's like, dude, grow up. Like, you're an able-bodied person with a cell phone and a car. Like, have some respect for yourself. So I think part of it, Riyadh, it's sad. Because I think some people are so conditioned to just getting by. People go, well, they're afraid to buy leads. Okay, well, maybe they don't believe in themselves. You should try to help them out. But at some point in time, you can only do so much, right? You can only do so much to let people get ahead. You do the best you can, and that's all you can ever do. So I think people take it for granted, Riyadh. I think people just kind of make some sales and are like, sweet, I made 3 sales. When I broke those numbers down at the beginning, when you start breaking the numbers down, you're like, oh, got it. I have to sell this much to make this much. Yes, I never hid from those numbers. 70% placement, 70% persistency, lead costs, how it all works out. So I had that on we called them opportunity meetings. Every opportunity meeting we did, I had that formula. So when people go, I sold $8 grand this month, I'd be like, how does that work in this formula? It doesn't work, Shawn. I sold 12 grand this month. How does this work? It doesn't work. That same thing with hiring though. Why don't some people build a business? Some of you don't believe you're business owners. Some of you don't have that self-image. So, and at some point in time, you have to enter in and have that. Like when we launched a company, I didn't know how to run a company, but I acted like I was running mother effing Google. I acted like I had it figured out. I acted like I could handle anything that came across. I acted like anything that happened, I acted like I knew it was going to happen because I didn't want to let people down. I didn't know, but they didn't know either. Now, the answer I gave to Mike Sizer when he asked me if he was going to make it, I said, we have a 20% chance to make it. And that's probably on the high end. This is his first year. But when Andrew Taylor asked me, I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? We have a 100% chance to make it. What the hell is like, dude, I was a big have some respect for yourself guy back then. I'm like, have some respect for yourself, dude. We're 100% going to make it. I wanted him to know I believed in me and believed in us and believed in getting ahead. So Riyadh, a lot of it is just these self-doubts we have. You know, I heard somebody explain it the other day as a brain bully. I think that's kind of a weird term, but I know what the person was getting at. Like, it's that voice inside your head, you know, that's telling you can't do it. And that's sad. I mean, some of you that sell on a high level and don't recruit, you recruit a little bit, kind of, you wait, you don't. Well, there's risk involved, Shawn. Yep, but I'd still rather be dead. And if you to the first person asked about what you do to be Hall of Fame, I mean, dude, as long as you have the numbers, Kyle, I think his name was Kyle, if I'm remembering correctly. As long as you have the numbers, like, it doesn't matter. So Riyadh, if you recruit enough people or you run enough appointments, y'all are never going to have to worry about it. Like, it's never going to be a problem. So, and I think some people just listen. I don't think they're lazy by nature. I just think some people are just really complacent. And this is a bad business if you get complacent, because it's all advanced money. You can't be complacent. Like, people always try to get me to sell me on selling stuff that was paid as earned. You know, and I'm sorry if you like that, that's on you. But I'm like, my mom did not raise any dumbers. I don't get mother effing paid as earned. Well, they adds up and there's no chargebacks. There shouldn't be any chargebacks. I'm making like $18 a transaction. Screw you. $18? I wouldn't walk to my mailbox when I was broke for $18. I'd find a way to make money. I ain't walking my mailbox now for $5,000 because I can find a way to make money that it costs me time to go to walk to my mailbox. So Riyadh, I think complacency, lack of belief in themselves. And that's part of our job, is to get people to believe in themselves. Part of our job is, you know, I had my buddy, Mike Gillette, Marissa knows, who had this great guy, grew up with him. And he was telling this story the other day. I haven't seen him in forever. And I went to high school and college with him. And we used to always joke with him because he had never been in a fight in his life. And I was always pumping him up. I'm like, bro, when you get in your first fight, you're going to whack somebody. Like, you are, bro. You have quick hands. And I'm like, what do I know? And he was telling the story. It's like, and this guy, his mommy bought him a BMW. Anyway, he ended up thumping this guy because the guy put his hands on his car. He's like, I always knew I could fight. And I'm like, how? He's like, you always told me I'd be good at it. I'm like, dude, you weren't good at it. It was a horrible punch. It was like a weird haymaker. You caught him by accident. But he's like, man, we're supposed to breathe life into people. And that's like a stupid true story, but it's getting people to understand that our job is to get them to know they can do it. Like, everybody that's watching tonight, you all can be insanely successful if you choose to be. You all can build a massive business. When Marissa started, I knew she could build a massive business. And that was always the message too. You will build a massive business. You are going to run a massive business. People will want to work with you. And here's why. And you got to start, then you start telling yourself that. Now, people like broke people, and I don't mean broke people like I was broke as shit, but we have this weird language. Like, I always love when people still have a bad mindset. They go, I don't mean to kiss your ass, but it's like, dude, it's okay to compliment people. Riyadh, you sell a lot of life insurance. I think you're really good at it. You have good composure, good posture. I appreciate your leadership. Why can't I say that? I don't have to say, Riyadh, I don't mean to, like, that's just weird. Guys, at the end of the day, this is about also just changing as people if you want a different result in life. Money doesn't make you anybody, but being broke sucks. And it makes you somebody that's going to be at the will of other people the rest of your life. And me, I don't want to be incarcerated the rest of my life. I just don't. I want to be free, you know? So I know I rambled a little bit, but I hope that makes sense.
No, that was great, Shawn. And we'll kind of wrap it up with this. I have a question, and I think this is gonna be great for everyone here, but I was on the phone today with somebody who wants to work with us, you know, potential new agent, potential recruit. And I had said, you know, hey, FFL Domination has 200 active writing agents a month. Family First Life probably has 20,000. we're continuing to grow. And they said, well, isn't that too many? Aren't you going to run out? So I'd love for you to talk about, why we continue to grow, what's happening this year in 2023, where the company's going, and if you truly believe that there is no better time to get involved.
There's, hundreds of millions of people in America. According to LIMRA, 79% of them said they have no insurance or not enough insurance. So take hundreds of millions of people, take 79% of that. There are only 2 million licensed life insurance agents. We only have about 27,000 working here. We're by far the biggest company in the industry. It's not even close. I actively have 2.7 million leads in inventory. 2,700,000 families that have said, come help me. And nobody that works here has called them yet. I could produce millions of leads a month because there's that many people. So as far as that being too many people, that's not even, and I understand that if you don't know the industry, it's a really good question, but absolutely not. We could 10x our sales force, go to 270,000, and it still wouldn't even be like, we wouldn't even make a dent. Forbes wouldn't come in and write an article on us. They wouldn't create a Netflix series on us. It wouldn't be that big a deal, dude. Like we'd still have like barely 10% of the writing agents, right? Like barely. Okay. That being said, I got my insurance license in 2008. 2023 for most of the year is going to be a really hard financial time, like really hard financial time, just so you know. What does that mean? That means that's good for life insurance sales. The good thing about life insurance is when people are down and out, they think more about it. They look at what they do or don't have, look at the equity in their home and the equity they lost, look at their savings account, the stock market. I don't need to tell you all about that if you're in the market at all. They've taken a beating. So, and then when times are good, people buy life insurance. People always buy life insurance. What I found out about 08, and I didn't realize this because I started in 08, I recruited more people in 08 and 09 than I did 10, 11, and 12. Now, in fairness, I was quitting the company I was working at. So for last year, I probably didn't recruit a lot. Like I knew I was quitting. So I just was writing like $30,000 a week, trying to make money to afford to quit. But at the end of the day, what I knew was the market was bad. People were hurting. And if 80% of the people 80% are filling something out online going, hey, man, I need some extra income, we need to tap into that. So whoever understands this marketplace from today through the end of this year the best, there's a lot of really good people out there that have been downsized and outsourced and wages cut, and they can't make it. They want to. They're good people. They're sharp. They're hungry. They thought they'd be further along. It's another question I asked a lot of people. Did you think you'd be further along at this point in time in your lifetime? I'm really just trying to gauge their transparency. And if they go, oh, I'm doing great. It's like, I'm not mad at you, but it's going to be hard for me to work with you because, you're not vulnerable. You're not transparent. You might not have a better time to recruit than you're going to have over the next 12 months. I mean, it's still going to be a great time to recruit, but depending on how long you do this is probably the worst inflation you'll see probably in your lifetime, to be honest. I mean, some of you are very young to get freaked out. They might find a way to make it worse in the future. I don't know that they actually can and survive it. And I think when you look at where companies are at nowadays, there's a lot of people working 40-hour weeks that are broke. These massive companies have no shame. I mean, no shame. They make obscene profits and pay people nothing. I was sitting with a kid tonight from the UFC, and I'm like, dude, don't you ever get mad that they sold for like $4 billion and you beat the hell out of each other for like 10 grand? I said, dude, I don't mind fighting, and I'll fight you like tomorrow if you want. You start doing that grappling shit on me because UFC, I'm going to grab you by the neck. But dude, I ain't fighting someone. You're going to risk your life for $10,000. But people, I think that people are starting to understand that. I think that I'm not a big generation study. I think there's a lot of stereotypes that are not true. I think a lot of the people that are 18, 19, 20, I don't think they're lazy. Like there's a lot of stereotypical stuff that's not accurate. I think they're informed, and I think they question things. And I can remember working at UPS when I was 18. I'm like, it's going to freak you all out. I made $8.50 an hour, which was a good wage back then. But I was still like, dude, I just delivered like 2,100 packages today. On average, it cost the consumer $42 a pop to ship them. I can do the math. I make $8.50. So I think there's a lot of people out there that are dying to make more money. Our job is to educate them on how they can do that through life insurance. They don't have to start off full time. I'm a big fan of starting off part time, but you might not have a better climate to recruit in than you have today. But what I think a lot of you are doing, and I know, I watch this team, I watch every team at the company, y'all are playing it safe. And that's your business if you want to do that. I'm not a play it safe kind of guy. We're going to make it or we're going to go down in a ball of flames, but it's going to be a great story one way or another. I'm not a middle of the road kind of guy. I'm like, and I don't think most businessmen and businesswomen that become successful are. I think that listen, I make decisions. I pay attention. I'm not an idiot, but I think that I'm an all-in kind of person. I just am. Like, that's why I love poker. Get me to play for 2 days and you'll get me, because after a while I get bored. Like, I just get bored. You can only bluff so much. I'm just like, dude, I'm in again. I'm all in. I'm in again. A lot of you, if you make the decision to go all in your business from now until the end of the year, I think you're going to have a pretty freaking amazing business by the end of 23 and beginning of 24. And I think if you make a decision to just be complacent and play it safe the rest of the year and not ask for help, not seek mentorship, not get around people that can help you, not challenge yourself. If you're a great salesperson, you need to get better at recruiting, do that. If you're not a great sales, like whatever you need to get better at, embrace that area. Stop saying you're not good at it too. Please stop doing that. For some of you, please stop doing that. Well, I'm not good on the phone. If you keep saying that, you're not going to be good on the phone. I was saying I was good on the phone before I made a dial. And I'm great on the phone because I tell people I'm coming over. Am I great because I'm talented? No. I tell you I'm coming over. It's hard to say no. And I'm coming over either way. That's your determination. If you'll embrace that this year and you'll start breathing life into yourself, I'm a great recruiter. I wasn't a great recruiter, but I started telling myself I'm a great recruiter. The guys in my office are like, dude, he don't recruit nobody. And Mike Si's like, well, go tell him he's not great. He's like, we're not telling him, but he's really not great at it. Mike's like, go ahead and tell him he's not great. Like, I just started convincing. And after a while, I started recruiting people. I did. Annuities. A lot of people weren't selling annuities. I was like, dude, I'm great at selling them. I'm great at protecting retirements. Like, you have to just start getting yourself to understand that if you'll make that commitment, because here's the magic, Marissa. I can't be all in unless the person that recruits me is all in. Now, it doesn't mean I can't find a way, but early on, and if you're not all in and I'm all in, I really don't want to be on. I'm on your team and I get it, but I'm not really inspired. I'm not big on lukewarm. Real hot, real cold. Lukewarm, not really that interested in lukewarm. So, and I think most people aren't. So the people you recruit, they're looking for something, right? They're looking for a spark from you. They're looking for leadership. I used to work with this guy a long time ago, and he said this to me, and I was like 19, and I listened to him. This guy, his name was Frank. He was awesome. And he said, Shawn, I want you to remember this when you're in business the rest of your life. I said, what? He said, when you set yourself on fire, people will come watch you burn. And, he said it to me and I was like, yeah, I get it. Right. But the more I've gotten through business, I'm like, he's right. Like, and anytime I didn't know what to do, I went and sold more than I ever did. Recruited. Like, I literally set myself on fire. And even people didn't even know what the hell I was doing, but they wanted to come see what I was doing because I was burning. And they didn't know, like, do we watch them? Do we put them out? Do we throw gas in the fire? Are we just entertained? People want to see that because a lot of them, they're scared to set themselves on fire, And I think for us, we need to understand that the people are watching. Your family's watching. You want your family to support you? Go out and do more activity than you ever thought you could do in this business. Because you know what'll happen? The bank account will change. I loved him. I was talking to a couple the other day and I was like, when did she get on board? He's like, as soon as I started making money. I go, she was on board before? He goes, nope. I go, why not? He goes, wasn't making money. She loves it now. But you've got to have those kind of results. And again, you guys are so talented. And I'm a big 90-day person. Like, I'll leave you with this tonight. What if you just made a commitment? First of all, you need to do everything you can to get people at convention. That's literally the easiest way to scale. Convention does the work for you. So if you're starting, you have 5 people that need to make extra money, convince them to go to Miami, tell them you're going on vacation. I don't care. Do whatever you got to do to get them there. Tell them you're going to Lone Depot Park for some games. It'll be awesome. And the attendance is free. When they walk in, ask them when the Marlins are playing. Go, I don't know, but we're here for an FBL event. Do whatever you got to do to get them there. But if the next 90 days, if you said, you know what, I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked in my life. Well, 90 days, not forever. I'm going to run this many appointments. I'm going to recruit this many people. I'm going to, I'm going to pick 5 people a week to work with one-on-one. If you'll just outwork anything you've ever done in the next 90 days, I'm telling you, might become addicted to the result. And I think you'll be very surprised because people are watching you. Because if you're going for a walk and ain't nobody following you, you ain't no leader. You're just a dude going for a walk. The most humbling experience I had in my life was when I left my old company. And like 1,500 people followed, and I didn't ask them to. I asked some. And when I asked people, why did you follow me? And they're like, dude, you just worked so hard and you seemed like you were fearless. I wanted to be in. People want to be around people that are fearless. They want to be motivated. So I really hope y'all have a phenomenal year. I hope it's everything you want it to be. It's what drives me. This is our year to $1 billion, and we are going to hit that. You guys have grown a lot in a short period of time, but there's a lot of you. And if I start naming names, I'll leave people out. I don't want to, but like, I don't know Kyle. Have ever met Kyle?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know you, Kyle. But Kyle, you could be doing $1 million a month within 6 months. I have no idea who you are. I don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Hell, don't even know if we'd like each other, Kyle. Maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't. Maybe you wouldn't like me. Maybe I'd like you, vice versa. But I know if you work your ass off, run your 30, recruit, do a lot of it yourself, eventually get 1 staff, maybe 2, and listen to people who have been there before you, right? Marissa, other people in the business. If you'll just do that and listen to what they have to say, dude, you could be doing whatever you want to be doing. That was my thing to people early on. I'm like, why don't you try to be 3 years behind the company? A lot of you should be doing that here in Domination. I want to be, Kyle's new. I want to be as big as Domination in 2 years. Good, you can be. Why can't you be? Then Domination wants to be as big as this, and FBL wants to get this big. So, dude, just believe in yourself. Sky's truly the limit. Struggle, dream, victory. And a lot of us have struggle, and we have these dreams. Get the victory, man. You just got to outwork people. So I really appreciate letting me get on. I am really sorry. I'm not sorry for cussing because I was mad, but I'm definitely sorry that I was delayed because you deserve better from me than that. And I'm sorry that we jacked that up for 7 minutes and 12 seconds.
No, it's all good, Shawn. Thank you so much. Just like we said, we're just humbled and honored that you can get on with us tonight, and we're looking forward to a killer year. So everybody have a great night, and thanks again, Shawn.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.